line with the different stages of Web3 investing, we created a user journey that covers 4 areas. In addition to building the entity launchpad for the most high potential projects building on Elrond, we developed a project monitor that helps investors make informed decisions. Our team carefully developed a set of transparent criteria to review projects in terms of team, product, token economics, and business evaluation. Based on years of experience, professionally reviewing blockchain startups, these reviews aggregate all key information and highlight what each project does exceptionally well and which areas can be improved. In the future, these reviews could also be done by a selected group of community members. Of course, projects have the possibility to provide us with updates and missing information to improve their score over time. Once an investor has decided on a project to invest in, they will be able to purchase the project's respective ESDT token directly from the entity interface. This is a key feature to making Entity an operations hub for Multiverse X. These modules provide cutting-edge statistics and charts so users can, and you guessed it, earn more rewards. Staking provider metrics are part of this module, as well as delegation metrics and reward strategies. Last but not least, Monitor. Entity provides a variety of tools to track and monitor assets, swaps, staking, and all other transactions directly from your wallet. With these tools, you can monitor your portfolio with next-generation analytics, simplify your DeFi accounting process, and more. For a little user experience, this 4-step journey is also represented on the Entity website in the navigation. There we feature individual tools and modules for each step of your journey through Entity. Here you can see a small excerpt of the Entity tools that are already available. On the top screen, you can see the portfolio manager, for example, and on the right, you can see the current platform modules matching our user journey. Some modules are still under development and will be available in the next couple months. We place great importance on the usability and quality of our platform, which is why we decided to redesign the entire platform that combines our focus on organic growth with an innovative, futuristic touch. Therefore, not all Entity modules are up to date yet, but it won't take long. Entity for builders. Our goal is to offer a central hub for startups building on the tech stack of the Multiverse X blockchain. But more than that, we also want to attract builders and startups from other ecosystems. Getting listed is a first step. Projects can independently apply for listing on Entity. Through being listed on the project monitor, startups gain valuable exposure from across the Elrond community. Feedback, something super important. Our expert team will thoroughly review and evaluate each project that signed up to our project monitor. Our reviews are based on information that is publicly available, for example, in light papers, on the websites, or even on social media. Be aware that our ratings are fully transparent and objective. They are also available in our Gitbook, so everybody can have a closer look. Before we even publish those project reviews, we send our findings back to the builders. This way they can ensure the information is accurate and make corrections to their documentation if needed. The incubation process. As you might know, we have already successfully supported and incubated several well-known blockchain projects. Some of them are here, like AshSwap, Holorite, Knights of Cathena. And partnering with external professionals, we offer a wide range of services. Among them, technical development, marketing, project funding, legal consulting, and many more. Being listed on the project monitor, the startups gain the opportunity to potentially launch on the Entity Launchpad. This is a great opportunity to secure decentralized funding from the community. To give you an idea of what we are actually working on, we have prepared a video. Get all in one place. I think that's the message. I'm quite sure you have heard this so many times if you're already a while in the ecosystem. We're on day one. Entity is on day one. This means, despite our progress over the past month, we still have a great deal of growth ahead of us. Our roadmap for the end of this year and also for 2023 makes that very clear. Some of you may have already tested the platform. We are live with an alpha stage since March, April this year. Many of the modules are already live. We have hundreds of testers that are giving us feedback. And for this year, there are also many more things to come. So let's have a closer look at the roadmap, because for this year we have planned to publish the light paper of the whole project. The launchpad itself will go live, and as soon as we launch the first project on Entity, we will also have the whole staking farms module live. I think there are many things now on our roadmap a lot of people from the ecosystem are very, very interested in, so I will just name a few. Alerts and notifications is something many people are waiting for since quite a while. Automatic redelegation to all the farmers out there. Bulk sending and the project monitor open to the community, plus voting in the future. And very, very soon, the tax tools that is already live and can be used for your tax declaration will also include all the meta bonding transactions that are not yet implemented. For the second quarter of 2023, we are planning to go live with the modules for DeFi and analytics, for additional on-chain metrics, and one of the most important modules, our liquidity diversification marketplace, LDM. One year from now, Q3 next year, we will also have governance for the whole entity project and a multi-language support. I think that's very necessary for the whole growth of the community. And last but not least, end of next year, we will also go live with advanced on-chain metrics. As you have heard from many other presenters already before, I think within the Elrond ecosystem, the Multiverse X ecosystem, which is one of the most vibrant communities we have in the blockchain space, we were super lucky at Entity to create a team of hardcore builders, super dedicated and passionate people that are making this possible. So Entity is a dedicated team of individuals from across Europe and the US who all work diligently towards our shared goals. We are proud, super proud, to have achieved every milestone to date without any external funding. Even without VCs and an ongoing bear market, we have the resiliency to push forward as long as it takes. Our outlook remains strong despite the current market conditions. And with all these great builders in the community, members around, we are sure that the Multiverse X will reach new all-time highs very soon. So the question is, are you ready for Entity? With this QR code, you can reach our X-Day landing page. There you can register with your email address to get information about exclusive events and campaigns, and maybe even some surprises. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you are all ready for Entity. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, I'm Grigore Roșu. I am an educator and an entrepreneur, so I wear two hats. This is my academic hat. And my company, Runtime Verification, is known for being a security auditor in the blockchain space. I hope the best. The best using formal methods and formal verification, for sure. But I would say that if you think of us as the best formal verification security auditor, you're not thinking big enough. So I hope by the end of this talk, I'll convince you that what we develop is a lot more than just an infrastructure and a framework for security auditing. We develop a technology that can transform the way we think about computing and we think about programs. Before I get into details, let me tell you at a high level what's going on in our field of programming languages and programs. So to tell computers what to do, we use programs. Programs written in programming languages. Programs which, in order to be executed, they need tools. Tools like interpreters, compilers, or in order to reason about these programs, we need model checkers. We need formal verification tools. We need tools. And these tools help us execute programs. For example, factorial of 3 equals 6. In order to get that, you need a tool that will take the program and execute it and give you 6. In order to be absolutely sure that a smart contract does what it is supposed to do, that it is correct, you need tools that allow you to prove that. And that's what happens in our field, in the programming language field. And this comes with two major pain points. Sometimes these pain points are so subtle that we don't even see them. Okay, so one pain point is in the world of developers. So the developers waste a lot of time redoing work. Okay, so when you implement an interpreter or a compiler for a programming language, you do almost the same work that you do to implement an interpreter or a compiler for another language. So there are lots of PhDs wasted redoing the same thing over and over again just for a slightly different syntax, a different programming language. So it's not only wasted talent, but this is also error prone and it's out of sync. It's hard to keep track with all the versions and so on and so forth. So that's on the developer side. But also on the user side, on our side, consumer side, there is a lot that we have to trust. For example, why should you trust that factorial of 3 equals 6 if a program tells you that? Why? Or why should you trust that a program does a certain thing, that a smart contract is correct with respect to some property? Why? Because runtime verification audited it? Yes, that can give you some confidence, hopefully high confidence, but it's still not the absolute certificate of correctness that you'd like to have. So there is a lot to trust. So pain points for developers, a lot of duplication of work, and pain point on our side, users, that we have to accept a lot of things, a lot of claims made by all these tools around. And this is where our vision started from. So back in 2000, 2001, I was a research scientist at NASA, and I was confronted with all these problems, like all of us here, lots of languages, lots of tools, and it was not clear what to trust, what not, and there was a lot of duplication and boring work that we had to do as developers. So we started putting down the first ideas underlying the K framework, where this is how we address the two pain points. So on the one hand, on the language side, we implemented in the K framework all these tools, interpreters, compilers, model checkers, program verifiers, symbolic execution engines, all the tools that you may need for a language, we implemented them in a generic, language agnostic way. And on the other hand, we have a language, a meta language that allows you to, we say, define or specify the semantics of your programming language. So you implement your programming language once and for all as a parameter to the framework, and then you plug and play it in the framework, and then you have all the tools for your language. That was the vision. And this separation of concerns has major advantages, some of them unexpected. In particular, this intrinsic network effect. When you fix a problem, let's say in a model checker, you fix that problem in the model checkers of all the languages. Or when we fix a problem in a programming language, or when you upgrade a language to the next version, now you have all the tools for that language upgraded as well for that language. This is a lot of power. On the other hand, on the user side, so this is for developers. Okay, so instead of having n times m combinations of language tool combinations, now you have n plus m. If you have n languages and m tools, you have n plus m things that you have to develop, and all of them completely independent of each other. So that's for developers. Now for users, what K provides, and this is very important, and very few people really, really grasp it. So I'm going to just say it straight, and then I'll repeat it at the end. everything K does, everything any of these tools do, is searching, a best effort search, for a mathematical proof of some theorem. Okay? So everything is reduced to the basic foundations of mathematics. So the fact that factorial of 3 evaluates to 6 in Java, if I have the factorial program in Java and factorial of 3x evaluates to 6 in Java, that's a mathematical theorem that can be proved, okay, according to the mathematical definition of the programming language Java. Okay? And what K does is to search for such proofs. And it truly finds those proofs. So we instrumented all these blue boxes, all these tools, to generate evidence, basically proof objects, we call them mathematical proof objects, that indeed what they do is correct. So this gives us, as users, the ultimate guarantee that the tool does what it's supposed to do. That factorial of 3 is 6, indeed, because it's a mathematical proof that I can check independently of K. As you can imagine, K is a large system, and some people ask, how large? So I collected some data here. This is the architecture of the system that we use internally. It's huge. It has more than 500,000 lines of code right now in 4 different languages, because many of these tools have been implemented by different teams, believing in different languages. But it's all open source. And as I said, and this is very important, K has the capability to generate proof objects that you can check independently. So you don't have to trust K. You don't have to trust these 500,000 lines of code. Let me highlight one of the tools that is really very useful at the core of many other tools. So look at this program. Just happens to be in Solidity, because that's how I had the slide done. But I hope we can move all this to Elrond soon. Yes. So this program doesn't do much. It just calculates the sum of numbers up to n. And there is a tool in K called the K summarizer, which takes such a program, and the semantics of the programming language, here is a EVM, the Ethereum Virtual Machine in K, and it executes it symbolically. It basically analyzes the program exhaustively, internally, executes it symbolically on all possible paths, and in the end it generates such a graph, which looks very much like a control flow graph in a compiler, but it's all derived completely automatically based on the mathematical definition of the programming language. Okay? So the tool knows nothing about Ethereum or Ethereum Virtual Machine or anything like that. It's all driven by the semantics of the programming language. And this, actually, all these blue boxes, they are actually theorems, and all these edges are actually proofs that, yes, from here you can transit to the next thing. And this tool, this K summarizer tool, is very useful in everything we do, almost. This is at the core of the compiler, the interpreter, of the program verifier, of the model checker. So everything we do is by generating, lots of the things we do, first we generate such a summary of the program, and then we do our specific analysis to specific tools. All right, and this brings me to what we do as a company, where our revenue comes, because what I showed you so far is very academic in nature, very nice, very publishable, but doesn't bring money necessarily. So what we do in our company, we use this technology to help companies improve the quality of their code. Right, this is called, for some reason, security auditing, but we really think more of it like reviewing of code with rigor in mind. So we developed our own internal process, runtime verification, how we analyze projects. And it has several stages, starting with design. We like to work with our clients from the very beginning. So if you work with us, runtime verification, keep in mind that we like to work with you from day 0, basically, and to review the design, to disagree, agree, disagree again, and so on the design until we converge. And only then to look at the code. There is so much you can do before you even look at the code. Okay? Then we look at the code, then we use our tools on the code. And there are lots of different tools that you can use on your code. And finally, and there is more and more interest now in the blockchain space, as we've seen also here in several talks, many of our clients want to do post-deployment health monitoring of their contracts. And this is also very easy to do for us, or relatively easy to do for us, because we already have all the specifications, all the properties, all the invariants that the protocol must satisfy at execution time. So we generate monitors from those, and then we can monitor the health of the contract. Because even if you prove things correct, they can still go wrong. Okay? Then don't start me on that. All right. And because of the nature of the language parametricity of the framework, actually, we define the semantics of many different languages, as you see here on the right. These are complete language semantics. I mean, we can take benchmarks, test suites that people develop for these languages to test their implementations, and we test our language semantics using these test suites, and we work with several blockchains. And I would like to say that our interaction with Elrond was by far one of the nicest interactions with the blockchain team. We helped Elrond review several important contracts that I guess many of you use here, like My Exchange version 1. We formally verified multi-sig, some parts of the Ad Astra bridge, the ESDT module, and then also now we are working together on My Exchange 2. And we learned the lesson. We started talking about it even before starting to talk about code. So very early. And now also work with other major players in the blockchain, in the Elrond space, like Hatom. And we just started also an audit with HashSwap. But one thing that really excites me in our collaboration with Elrond is that somehow we together reached consensus on what could be a new auditing paradigm. When we asked Elrond, Benjamin, and Lucian how they envision our collaboration long term, they made it pretty clear, pretty early, that they don't care about nice-looking PDF auditing reports. They just want to do whatever is possible to increase the quality of the code. Okay? And we were faced with something slightly different because many of our clients really want these nice-looking PDF reports to show them to their clients to get like an approval stamp from an auditor. And we don't like that, but that's how the world is. But Elrond said explicitly, we don't care about that. We want the best possible quality of the code. Okay, great. How can we do that together? And we realized that we can do that best if we work together from the beginning. So, no gloves and no, nothing hidden, everything on the table. Let's discuss, let's argue, let's use together the prototypes. Let's try together to do things the best possible way. Or in other words, we as auditors were looking always over the shoulders, let's say, of the Elrond developers. And whenever we thought that something was not easy to analyze or to audit, we gave them feedback. They took our feedback into account. And before we knew it, both the code and the audit report were done at the same time. And everything was like a combination made in heaven. It was really, really nice. And I strongly encourage this as an approach. All right, and now to conclude, I'd like to tell you where we want to go next with the K framework. So let me repeat this is a very important fact that everything K does in the end is a mathematical proof. And a mathematical proof in logic means that you have, okay, it's down. You have a mathematical theory, here the language theory, let's say, I don't know, Rust. And then you have a task, like factorial of 3 is 6, or this contract is a correct multi-sig implementation. Okay? So you have everything in the end becomes a proof, including computation. Execution of programs is also a proof. And we wanted to see how difficult it is really to check the correctness of a proof. So suppose that you give me a proof, a sequence of steps, how difficult it is to check it. And it turned out that you can have a very small program, the proof checker, that we call it the proof checker, that can check any proof of any claim in any programming language, or even more general, any proof of any theorem in any mathematical theory. Only 250 lines of code. So I would like to make a big claim now that this program could be the most important program that we've ever written. Because with this program, you can check everything that happens on any of our computers, phones, blockchain, everything, everywhere. So here's an idea that we started working on. Let's snark this proof checker. Okay? Only 250 lines of code. Let's snark it. And now we can take everything that we can do with K, including program execution, and generate a zero-knowledge certificate, a cryptographic certificate of correctness. And now I don't have to trust your computation. I don't even care about your computation, how you do your computation. I generate a proof from your computation, and I check that proof. Now I have an absolute correctness assurance, the ultimate correctness assurance. And we hope to get there. Once you have that, you don't need things like ZK, EVM, or Cairo languages, because you only need the semantics for them in K, and then you can do it with K for them. So yeah, I hope we'll achieve that, and why not on the Elrond blockchain? Maybe we'll have XK someday, who knows? Let's see. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here today. Even if it's the third day and you guys are all tired from all the partying last night and the night before and the night before and all the crazy announcements that we've had in these past few days. I know it's a conference that lasts 3 days, and the last afternoon is the hardest. I hope I'm not going to put you to sleep. If somebody falls asleep, just raise the hand slightly. I will try to wake you up. I'm Eddie from Valid Blocks. It's really an honor to speak after a brilliant mind like Grigore. You know, I think we are so lucky to have him in the ecosystem. I would like another round of applause for him. Okay, so in the last few months, we've been wondering what can we do to add value to the Elrond ecosystems. As most of you probably know, we are a staking provider since we believe in non-custodial staking. And we wanted to do something to help the community. So I'll start with a question. What aspect do you value most when storing assets on the blockchain? If you've read the title of the presentation, it kind of gives it away, right? I'm going to give you the only right answer. The most important thing is security, right? You can have the fastest blockchain, a gazillion transactions per second. If you don't have security, you have nothing. You can have shiny apps, right? Without security, you're zero. So let's try to raise our hands. Who has an Elrond wallet in here? I want every hand up, because if you signed up, you needed to have an Elrond wallet, right? If you didn't, you created one. Okay, I'm trying to see if your experience is the same as mine, right? Have you helped anyone create an Elrond wallet? That's good. The rest of you, homework. When I help a person create a wallet, of course, you walk through the process, and you tell them these words, these 24 words, these are very important. This is your lifeline. You don't take a screenshot, you don't take a picture of these, you write them down on a piece of paper or on 2 pieces of paper, and you save them in a safe or someplace safe where nobody sees them. If Benjamin Minku comes and asks for these words, you don't give it to him, you know. These are for you and you alone. What happens? They don't. Actually, I asked them a month later, hey, did you back up your seed phrase? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna do that. They don't. And in the end, Meyer asks you, ask you to put some words in a specific order. If I share my secret phrase, I will lose my money. Say it with me. If I share my secret phrase, I will lose my money. What happens? They do. Some fake Telegram account comes in Elrond community chats, right? In Multiverse X chats. And he goes, hey, I'm your friendly Elrond support admin here trying to help you. please validate your wallet in this website. So people fall for these scams for some reason, right? They click that link and it asks for the seed phrase to sign in. I don't know why. They do it. So you have to think, what's happening? You know, where do we go wrong? Because on blockchain, there is no password recovery, right? We are used to clicking on a link and saying, I forgot my password. That's okay, I'm gonna get a new password with a OTP, a PIN, no problem. But we have lost the idea of truly owning something, right? Ever since in the 70s, US abolished the golden standard, right? Now it's just, everything is relative. So we have lost the idea of truly ownership of value, true ownership of value. So we need to come back with Web3 and really understand and help others understand what the true ownership means. And as we've been hearing over and over again, with true ownership comes great responsibility. You're probably familiar, since if you're in the space, with the story of Gerald Cotton and Quadriga. There are so many nuances to this story. I'm not going to get into that, but this is a guy that founded a crypto exchange in Canada in 2013. And in 2019, after his sudden death in some weird circumstances in India, he took to the grave the keys to the cold wallet. So 190 million US were locked forever in an address. So the story is, like I said, a bit more complicated, but you have to wonder, what if? What if he wasn't the only one that had the keys? What if they used the multisig? So what is a multisig? A multisig is basically a smart contract that stores assets on the blockchain for 1, 2, 3, 1,000 users, right? Infinite number of users, doesn't really matter. And you can set up a quorum, and that is the number of approvals that any transaction needs in order to be processed. So say you are 5 people, you can set up a quorum of 3, and any transaction needs those 3 approvals, the proposal plus 2, in order to pass. So if they use the multisig, somebody else could have had the access to that cold wallet, you know, and the funds will still be available. So basically, what a multisig does is it adds an exponential security layer, you know. I saw this metaphor on the internet, on Reddit. It's like if mining for a private key would be like winning the lottery 6 days in a row, and then on the 7th day being struck by lightning, try to think about what does it mean to mine 2 of the same private keys in the same multisig. I mean, the human mind can't easily comprehend truly massive numbers. If we look at our neighbors in the Ethereum, you probably heard of them. They're a startup in 2014. The most common multisig wallet holds over 100 billion US dollars assets. So I think once we raise the bar of the security, once we go to the next level of security, it becomes the default, right? Everybody will want to use a multisig. Any bank, any institution, any fund, all of them will want to use the best security there is. So who could benefit from a multisig? Well, I could say any team that's building any staking provider, any DAO, any NFT creator, any DeFi projects. It would bring a lot of trust. You know, the rug pulls would be more difficult to implement if a multisig is in place. It's not one person who holds the keys, it's a team of people. And even individuals. So if you set up a family multisig or you want to have redundancy, you can set it up as in a billion ways. So actually, the sky is the limit. I'm not going to introduce this any longer because the time is going like crazy, so I'm just going to play it. Insert drum roll effect. We present the Xsafe. Unfortunately, we did not get the memo with the right color and the shape of the X, but we're getting there. This was built before the announcement, so bear with me. I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the application. You are presented with this very simple interface where you can log in with your favorite wallet, Maiar, Xportal, Maiar DeFi, whatever. And if you want to create a new wallet, it's just 2 simple steps. Enter a name for your wallet, and then deploy the smart contract. Once deployed, you need to change the owner of the wallet. That is very important because when you deploy the smart contract, you are the smart contract owner. So you could eventually upgrade the smart contract with a malicious code. You don't want that. You want security. So you are giving the smart contract ownership of itself. It's self-owned. Any upgrade will need to be done through the normal process of proposal, approval. So this increases the security. Once the safe is deployed and the ownership is given to itself, you can receive tokens, NFTs. There's an overview, a dashboard with all the members and the tokens that you have. And let's walk through adding a member, right? You go to the organization members, add a member, add the address. Of course, at this time, you are the sole member in the multisig, so you don't need any further approval. You can just perform the operation. In transactions, perform. Once the new member is added, you can change the quorum to 2, so it will be 2 out of 2 members, 2 signatures needed to confirm any transactions. So you can propose a quorum change to 2. Once the action is performed, now the quorum has changed to 2. Any further transaction would need 2 signatures. So let's say we look at the assets and say, I want to send 1.5 Eagle, right? I go to the dashboard, click on the send button, and it creates a proposal of sending 1.5 Eagle. You can swap there and change the asset you're trying to send from Eagle to LockedMex or Holoride or, well, LockedMex not anymore, right? So you create the proposal. The other wallet will have to approve the transaction before it can be performed. You can see the transactions that are pending. And once it's approved, it can be performed, and boom, the Eagle is sent. So how do you do when you want to interact with other smart contracts, not just sending assets? Well, the way we thought of this is, let's make a marketplace where any smart contract interaction would have a small app. So we created a framework for small apps that can be installed, and all the smart contract interactions will have a user interface. So anybody that wants to use these apps will just click a few buttons and do it. The first app that is available is the EGLD staking app. So you can just install it and then click on the stake button. You're presented with a list of staking providers. You select your favorite staking provider. No hints given here. You click next. The proposal is created, right? And you go through the whole process. Somebody approves the proposal and performs the action. So all the restake claim, all this does is it prepares the transaction for the multisig to perform. You don't have to worry about converting hex to decimal or the other way around. It does this for you. So any future apps that will need to interact with the multisig, they can be created very simply. So the framework allows anybody to contribute. So we will add more apps, but we're looking forward to see what everybody in the community will add. And I think we can all together make this a beautiful ecosystem. So we're not launching a token. The development is self-funded, and we hope you will find it useful. That's it from me. Thank you very much. Actually, two more things, sorry. The safest way to manage your digital assets on Multiverse X is available soon for early access users. We have opened the registration at xsafe.io, also xsafe.app. And we're going 100% open source with the front end as soon as we launch on the mainnet. Thank you very much.
Be a hero. Be a hero in the Web3 era. How many of you guys ever dreamed to build something in Web3? Okay, there are some guys. How many of you try to build something, but they have different problems in terms of funds, or technical issues, or digital marketing strategies, or business strategies? Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and after 3 days, still willing to find out more about our product and what we build on Metaverse X. Some things about Be Hero Launchpad. I'm pretty sure many of you heard about our Launchpad and what we are building around our Web3 BH Network Web3 product. Today in my presentation, my focus will be to respond to some questions. How to build something, how to start something, what is the most important flow in order to achieve something in Web3, in order to be compliant, to have a possibility to have a good product, to have a reliable way in order to engage with your community. The first question before starting to respond to all these questions, who are we and how we started to build something? Our story started more than 2 years ago. At that time, I was a software engineer, technical lead at NXP Semiconductors. I was basically in Web2, as many of you guys. And at that specific time, working on the security side, our main focus was to increase some security protocols in order to have a better security between our protocols, our servers, and how these packages are reaching the IoT devices we were building at the time and the automotive cars. And we were trying to resolve a very hard problem, a chicken egg problem, how to be sure that our secure packages are reaching not cloned devices. And that was a very, very difficult problem. And from discussions with our CTO group at the time, we reached the point that we need to use blockchain. And we started to use and to make research on different blockchain, starting with the most popular ones, blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the IBM blockchains, the private and the public ones. But we find out an extremely important problem, the scalability one. Many of you guys for sure heard about the blockchain trilemma, and scalability is one of the problems describing in this trilemma. And for IoT, it was extremely important to have scalability and also low latency. This was extremely